Demo, we are back. It's been what, 2 weeks, and
Yep, it's been
now
2 weeks.
we are following up on your monster fish quarantine system. And now
Yes,
it's wet.
it's wet. It's got lots of fish, lots of water, and things have been going pretty well. A lot, honestly, smoother than I would think for the first order in the system.
Okay.
And yeah, we just want to talk to you guys about what we actually do. It's one thing to say, oh, we treat our fish, we quarantine, blah, blah, blah. But a lot of people don't actually know what we're doing to the fish
All right.
and why we're doing it and how we're doing it. So it's important for me to make sure all of my customers and people who aren't even shopping with me know what we do, because it makes a big difference. If the store is willing to do something like this, it's providing a huge service that it's very difficult to do.
Yes.
You know, a lot of customers, they don't have the space for a quarantine tank. They don't really know how to do it, and they don't want to deal with it. And for me, I just want to provide healthy fish, just long-term success for everybody. And it's very difficult to achieve on a commercial scale.
For sure. I actually had a guy come over today, and he was asking me about my fish and the quarantine process. And primarily, you would be surprised how many people don't have a separate 10-gallon aquarium where they can put a fish and just observe it. So you've put the water in right pretty much the same day when we shot the first video 2 weeks ago. So what happened next? I remember seeing a whole bunch of boxes delivered. Do you just throw the fish into the water, or like what do you do?
So we normally would do a pH match. So we drop the pH of the system to match the average of what the shipment that had come in is.
Okay.
And depending on where it's coming from, you know, the sizes of the bags and how long the travel was, the pH would be a different level. So we'll drop the pH in the system to match it. And then what we used to do is drip the fish in through that process as well. So we did like a hybrid method. Some stores would just pH match, some stores would do a drip. We used to do both. But with this system, we do just a pH match, a temperature match, and a salinity match. So once we get these fish in the store, we start opening up the boxes, get them used to light. We start, I go through a few fish per box, and I'll pick an average of what doesn't look like it's super rough, and I'll measure the pH of those bags, and then I'll decide what I want to drop the pH of our system to. And most of the time for Indo, we're dropping it close to 6.8, 6.9, and we just need, the goal of this is to get the fish out of the water that they're in as soon as possible.
So just excuse me for interruption, but I'd like to understand the water that they come in is kind of it's soiled, right?
Oh, it's horrible. Yeah.
And I remember something about not like being careful when you expose it to air. It changes even more.
Yeah. So when a fish is in transit for 36 hours, 48 hours, however many days it is, there's tons of ammonia in the bag building up, and the pH will drop naturally in that bag. And when the pH is very low, the ammonia is not that toxic to the fish. So once we cut that bag open and the pH starts to rise, the fish is being poisoned actively.
Oh.
So the goal is to get them out of those bags once you cut them open as soon as possible. So dripping the fish on their own is usually not a great choice. We also don't want any of that water in the system either, because it's filthy. God knows what kind of parasites and bacteria is in it as well.
Yes.
We have a cart where we dump all the fish in bag by bag. We start organizing them, and once we have our water in the quarantine with the parameters matching, we start cutting stuff and we start organizing. So as long as, like I said, we match that pH as close as we can, temperature as close as we can, salinity as close as we can actively just take the fish out of the bags and just toss them in here. There's no other actual acclimation that needs to happen.
Yes.
Throughout the night is when they're going to get acclimated to a higher level of pH. The system will naturally go back up on its own. We'll buffer, depending on how low we have to go. Sometimes we've gone to like 6.2, 6.1. I'll put some buffers in as well the next day. Yeah. If it's a really long transit and the water is extremely dirty, it will get pretty low.
Now, that's probably even applicable to people that receive ship overnight. Let's say if they buy it from you or from any other store, like your pH, you have to watch your pH if it's been in transit, let's say, for 2 days. Is that the case?
Oh, or? For sure. And we're going to change the way we ship fish now.
Okay.
We're going to start shipping anybody who buys fish is going to get a little tiny, like a little bag of some liquid. They're not going to know what it is, but we're going to try and include instructions in every order.
Okay.
And it's going to be a product called Ammo-Lock, which is going to bond to all the ammonia in the water. So if the customer's dripping their fish, which almost everybody does when they buy fish, they can pour that liquid in there. It will help detoxify the ammonia. It's much safer to do that with ammo lock than it would be with like prime or a water conditioner.
Gotcha.
It works a lot more effectively.
All right.
So yeah, it's something to consider. People just don't know about it. So that's what we're gonna do when we start shipping fish. But yeah, getting them in here is a process. There's just so many fish. This last order was 407 fish on arrival.
Holy smokes.
Obviously, some of them are gonna come in dead.
Yeah.
If I had to guess, we probably had about 380 come in alive.
Yeah.
So we had to cut 380 individual bags, go through 380 individual fish.
Oh my goodness.
And I had to plan.
That's a lot of work.
Yeah.
Eh?
I have to plan exactly where they're going in here because we have to separate them so we don't have a lot of issues with fighting, because that's the big problem with quarantining that I was experiencing the last year.
Yes.
Is the last 10 to 12 days, the fish get too comfortable and then they start going at each other.
So what was the loss this time around? I think last time what you said, you could even get like 20 to 40%.
Yeah, I'd say if you had to average everything, it's usually 30 to 40% over the course of everything. This time, I would say it's probably closer to 30%, 35%, which is why I said I was pretty shocked how smooth things went. Given it was a brand new system, I put 400 fish in it.
Yeah.
But what I just was very, very cautious with everything we did this time. Like, I gave the fish an extra day of settling down prior to putting the copper in. I wanted to be extra careful.
Yes.
So the fish arrived. We got them all into their respective little cubicles, their little tanks, and we turned the system back on. We got the skimmer on, and we pretty much left for the morning. We were here for about 22 hours that day. It was a long day.
Holy.
And I came in the next day just to check on everybody. They seemed okay. If anything perished, I pulled them out. Then I came back the next day as well, same thing, just checking up on everybody. When I came back on that first Wednesday when we were open, that's when we started our medication. So we have a chart here. It's a bit messy, but it's my handwriting. I understand what's going on here.
That's what matters.
We have to keep track of what's going on, what's coming in.
Yes.
And the most important things of what we're dosing and what levels are. So we have everything labeled out from day 1 till day 16.
Yep.
Because I usually find between 15 and 16 days of them arriving is when they're going to be finished and put into the fish wall.
Gotcha.
So we start with day 1, the origin of the shipment. This is a Valley order. We always check the salinity as often as we can if it's daily. We have a chart here for what meds we're dosing.
Yep.
And it's usually going to be copper, so we have to check our copper level.
Oh, wow.
Our fenbendazole dosage is going to be a pre-mixed food, so we also have to keep track, make sure we're doing a certain amount of days as well. And then we have a section for notes. So if I notice, let's just say my Regal Angels came in very poorly or something like that, I'll make a note of it so I can make sure to keep track of that fish throughout the order. So first 2 days, nothing really happens. We just check the salinity the first 2 days, and it's pretty much stable across the whole 2 weeks. No medications were dosed. We never checked the copper. No fenbendazole was done. The third day when we came in, that's when we started dosing the main treatment, which is the copper. And I never do a full dosage right away. I don't want to kill every fish just and shock them. We started with a 200 ml dose at 12:30 that day.
Yeah.
And I drip it. So I dilute it in about a liter of water and I get it dripping into the system.
Yep.
And I try about 4 or 5 hours later to come back, check the copper.
Yes.
And then I have to make a final adjustment almost every time.
Gotcha.
At 4 o'clock, we dose another 100 mils.
Yeah.
So I like to put my copper significantly above therapeutic levels. We're experiencing, not just us, everybody in the hobby is experiencing more copper-resistant strains of ick.
Oh, God.
So we use Copper Safe, which therapeutic levels are 2.0 ppm.
Yep.
Some people use Copper Power, which therapeutic is 2.0, but now the standard has gone up to, I think, 2.25 because of that resistance from the parasites. This order, we ended up getting it up to 2.8, which is quite a bit higher.
Yes.
And I was comfortable based on how the fish were acting. So I thought to keep it there the entire way. Our wrasses weren't dropping as fast as they might normally drop, and the fish were eating pretty quickly. So that day 3, we tested the copper level, and every day after that, we come in and we check the salinity. It's the same, it's the same, it's the same.
Yeah.
We didn't dose any more medication on the 4th and 5th day. We checked the copper, it's been consistent. The secondary portion of our treatment is a formaldehyde treatment, and we don't do baths anymore. We used to in the old store.
Yeah.
I find they're way too harsh, and they don't do enough. They're not as effective. You need to do multiple baths to be like 100%.
Gotcha.
And it's just not worth the risk. It's not worth the risk for us because it's dangerous to deal with. When you do a bath, it's a heavy concentration. It's just not good for anybody.
Yeah.
So we do a system treatment, which is between 7 and 10 days. 7 days is still considered therapeutic. We only do 7 if it's fish that are more sensitive to it.
Got it.
But I think we're doing 9 days this time. So when we start, on day 6, we started Formalin. I have it on a dosing pump, so all I have to do is manually click the button and it puts the 17 mils that we need in here. I'll make sure every day I do it. So I've scheduled here like every day throughout the 14 days. I know I need to do form every day, and when I do it, I'll put a blue check mark to make sure I know I've done it.
Oh my goodness.
And now we're on day 14, so I have to do it as well. I was going to show you guys how simply we do it. But we make sure every day we trigger the form treatment so it goes in. And when we start formalin, if anybody knows about formalin, it strips oxygen from the water extremely fast. So that can be catastrophic in a system with 300 or 400 fish.
That's why you got this thing here?
I've got this monster pond air pump. It's got this whole manifold. We've got air stones in the sump, air stones in the overflows. So we aerate the water for the day before we start the treatment, and then 24/7 after, as formalin's going in. We just need more oxygen.
What is this one?
This is our Kimura X1 dosing pump. It's just a simple single head dosing pump. That's what we use to put the formalin in the system. And we keep our formalin in a bottle where no light can get to it, because that will make the formalin, I believe it'll turn to a toxic form if it's exposed to too much light long term.
Sheesh. And then you have a pH meter here as well.
So that's what we use to just check the pH when the fish come in, temperature regularly.
Nice.
And then the final portion of our treatment is a fenbendazole. In their food. It's fenbendazole in their food. So I put little asterisks on the days I know I have to do it. And we do that for 5 days. So tomorrow is the last day of fenbendazole. So I have to come in tomorrow and do it.
The fish is going to be ready?
Fish are going to be ready. They're going to be ready. Technically, we finished the treatment on Tuesday, but we're not open until Wednesday. So Tuesday, I'm going to come in when we're closed, and I'm going to get everybody acclimating over. If there's anybody who's in rough shape, I'm just going to keep them in here. We'll drip them into the fish system, and Wednesday, they're pretty much ready for sale. We give them the whole day to settle down. And that's it. So those are the medications we use. Those are how we use them. Now the question is why? Why do we use these medications? Well, obviously copper's pretty obvious. You know, ick. Copper, the main treatment with that is going to be ick. It also treats for velvet as well. And a lot of people think you have to do a 30-day treatment, which is true if you're not transferring the fish. If you're going to transfer the fish after the treatment's done, 14 days of full therapeutic copper is significant. Is enough for you to eradicate any of those parasites that it will treat. So we do 14 days, and we make sure we have to keep the copper level therapeutic or above. That's why I like to also go a little bit higher. So in case for some reason it drops, we don't have to reset our 14 days. So with copper, we're treating for mainly ick and marine velvet. Formalin, I think, is the most unique medication or chemical we can use to treat fish. I think it's the most broad spectrum thing you can use. It's also the riskiest to use. But with formalin, we're treating marine velvet again as well, black ick, Uronema if you do it properly, like an in-system treatment, flukes, Brooklynella, which is why I'm one of the only stores who likes to bring in wild clownfish. So that's a very versatile thing that we use for our treatment. And again, the harshest, the highest risk, but I think definitely the highest reward. And the methods we've developed over the last 4 years of using it have just gotten better and better and better. So that's why we use formalin. And then fenbendazole is a dewormer. So we try to treat all the fish for internal parasites. That's the one thing we can't be 100% certain of, because at the end of the day, not every fish is going to be eating every day for 5 days. Especially when we use fenbendazole, it's the most aggressive dewormer. It tends to suppress their appetite the most. I've had quite a bit of success with it. If the fish are eating it on day 1, I find they eat every single day till day 5. We just can't get every single fish to eat it right away. Not everybody wants to eat, and it is what it is. But we've had very good success overall. And between those 3 types of medications or treatments, I don't think there's anything else you could think of that you'd need to treat a fish for. At the end of the day, we can't guarantee anyone purchasing our fish that 100% of everything's been eradicated. But I promise anyone, this is far more than any retailer is willing to even go through. And we do it for prevention, because I haven't seen any order come in that doesn't have any problems. There's no way to avoid it. And the healthiest of fish will still have flukes on them. They'll still be carrying things. So this is just what we've developed over the last few years, and we're still fine-tuning things, we're still tweaking, but we go through a lot to just provide something that nobody else does.
That's why the fish cost what they cost, right? I mean, this is a lot of effort. This is a lot of your time, your staff time. This is risk, whole bunch of other things. Like when somebody looks at the fish and goes, "Oh, you know, this fish is $100." Well, guess what? There's a reason for why. Because you take on all the risk. You have to spend 2 weeks doing this type of stuff. So
2 weeks of not selling all the fish that we brought in, right? Like this order may not seem very large. 400 fish is a lot of fish. It's a lot of boxes, you know. it's tens and tens of thousands of dollars that I'm sitting on,
Yes.
not selling. And almost every store will bring their stuff in, sell it the next day or a couple days later because why? They want to get rid of it before it dies. So we're
Yes.
taking the risk. And I think
Yes.
a lot of my prices are pretty close to some of the other stores in the GTA.
Mm-hmm.
Some stores are actually more expensive than me for fish, which is pretty crazy. Maybe I need to refine some stuff, but it's, you know, at the end of the day, I just try and be fair. If we can make a little bit of money on it,
Yes.
and the customers are happy, that's all I want. Last year, we looked at the numbers at the end of the year,
Yeah.
and we lost a lot of fish during quarantine, and we ended up losing a ton of money by the year end. So this is why I decided to change the way the quarantine system is, because we were losing too many fish in here.
Yes.
And looking back at all the notes we were making, it was because of fighting. 80% of the losses were because of fighting. And hopefully we can keep our prices lower because we have less loss.
Yeah, and so far it's looking good. Now, where is all this fish going to go, say, tomorrow or whenever they're ready?
We're working on changing a few things in our fish wall here.
All right.
We have 4 tanks completed. Right now the system's off just because we were in the back room and the pumps are very loud, so we wanted to keep them off. But these 4 tanks are finished. We wanted to change the bottom row to all white backgrounds. It really makes the fish stand out quite a bit.
I know.
We did the one tank probably half a year ago as a tester.
Yes, I remember
I
that.
was seeing how it would be, how easy it is to clean, but more importantly, the type of adhesive we used, how long it would last, how durable it would be.
Yeah.
And we came to a good conclusion. So we've changed the bottoms to white. We still have one tank to do with just the handful of fish we have left.
Yes.
I'm going to move those into the quarantine after the new fish come in. And that's been offline. So those the new tanks that are being set up right now are 100% sterile. There's nothing in it, just salt and water.
That's cool.
So the fish are going to go into here. Our top rows are going to remain black with a white bottom.
Yep.
And we're doing a white bottom just to help brighten up the tanks a bit. And we've also added some visors on the top to stop reflection from going into people's eyes from the lights. So the fish will be in here, and as per usual, there's no medication in the system. We do not put a small dose of copper like most stores do.
Yeah.
We don't run hyposalinity like most stores do because that just hides any problems.
Correct.
The fish are still going to be carrying parasites, or still could be carrying parasites, even if they're in those below therapeutic levels of medication. But the biggest problem with doing that is you build resistance for those parasites. They start to become used to having some of the medication in the water, which is causing issues long-term for everybody in the industry. So we've made it a thing where we sell our fish out of is as close to a reef system as possible. Our salinity is usually 1.024 or higher in the fish wall. And again, no medications. I can use medications in this wall if I need to. If I need to treat the entire system, which we've done before, we will do it and then we'll strip the meds out.
Yes.
But we make it a thing. No meds in this wall. And you guys have seen over the year, I've had Achilles, powder blues, powder browns, the most ick susceptible fish. And they're sitting in here doing well with no signs of anything.
Well, I think that makes a big difference. Just because like you said, if it already is in that big system and it's looking healthy and you don't see any parasites, ick, whatever, basically now your risk is a lot lower for introducing that fish into your system at home.
Yeah.
As opposed to getting something that's under a lot of copper or salinity, and then guess what? It's a time bomb.
Yeah, it's stressful for the fish. Not only could they be carrying things, but if a fish is sitting in medication for weeks or days, and it's doing nothing for it other than stressing it, people take what freaks me out the most is when I hear customers saying they bought a fish from a store and it died on the way home, or it died the next morning, which is like crazy. And I hear it all the time. And for me, like, I think about how unhealthy does a fish have to be to die so fast? You couldn't even make it home and the fish was dead. Why is it? I haven't really heard that from any of my customers in 4 years of doing what I've been doing. And yes, I've been changing the way I do it, but if anything, I've been getting more aggressive with the way we do treatment. So, there's a lot of things that go on, and it's always a risk. But we do what we do. And one thing I forgot to mention is we're also starting now to take slides of the fish when they come in. So we have a microscope. And we'll take slides to see if we can identify anything on the fish.
Gotcha.
But the main purpose is to see if we do see parasites or bacteria. When they're finished their quarantine, we're also going to take slides and see if we've eradicated everything. So that's something I've always wanted to do, but I just never did. I kept forgetting about it. But now we have the organized quarantine system. There's a lot less to worry about when the fish are finally here.
I love it.
I'm scrambling a lot less throughout the first 2 weeks of them being here.
Yes.
It's much more streamlined. I'm just happy overall.
Dimo, I can't wait to see the water in here. And tell me about, a lot of viewers are wondering about that copper band. How
Yeah,
is the
so
copper band doing?
I was supposed to get 30 copper bands. Everybody loves copper bands.
Yeah.
We have a pretty good success rate, and that one that came in, the only
Yeah.
one,
Yeah.
still alive. Still
All right.
alive. He's eating. Not a tremendous amount. They don't
Yeah.
love to eat in full therapeutic copper, let alone well above it. But that just goes to show you, look, we're doing all this treatment. I only got one copper band in,
Yes.
and it survived the entire thing so far.
And it's mine.
Yes, 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 yes. I have probably got a whole bunch of people chasing me now that the
Yeah.
only one that came in isn't going to them, but it is what it is. I'm going to get more of them.
Well, I can't wait to come back in a week and just kind of see the fish in here and see the fish feed and take one home.
Yeah, it'll be really good for everybody. I'm excited.
This is really exciting. And this iPad that you got here, usually this thing is on, so people.
Yeah, so because we don't have any fish in here, we've
Yeah.
had like the lights off for most of the days. So normally,
Oh,
because we
nice.
don't like to write on the walls or put stickers on the tanks, I think it's tacky. And then obviously,
Yeah.
after a year, 2 years, 3 years of doing it, it's going to destroy everything we've built here.
Yes.
So what we normally have is we have the tablet set up here.
Oh, cool. Reef Paradise.
Yeah,
Let's see.
it's
Yeah.
usually set to our website, so it'll be set to the fish page, which explains a short little version of our
Yes.
treatment, because people don't even know we quarantine.
Yeah.
And then it'll be categorized by species that we
Yeah.
sell. So right now we barely have any fish. So if we're looking at an angelfish, you'd click
Yeah.
this, and we do have a maculosis, so it would say that's the price. So you'd be able to,
Wow,
you don't even
this
have to
is-
ask, right? It's there.
this
It's
is
all there
cool.
for you. And I know our coral section on the website is very limited compared to what's in the store.
Yeah.
The fish and invert section is as close as perfectly up to date as
So
we
it's
could
your
have it.
inventory.
Yeah,
basically.
because that's what we use to price them in the store. So
That's
that's
amazing.
what these will normally be on once
Yeah.
we have a regular fish stock. And then you can even just use your phone and check. But they're here in case customers can't get good reception or anything like that. And I've also just changed it starting today.
Yeah.
All the categories of fish. When you
Mhm.
click the fish, it's going to tell you right on the picture that they're quarantined. Because
Sweet.
I've had customers that have been coming to me for years, 2, 3 years, 4 years now, and we've never just talked about it.
Yes.
And when we just get into conversation about quarantine, they ask me, why don't you have any fish? I'm like, oh, we're building a new quarantine system. They're like, you quarantine fish? They had no idea, and they've been shopping with me for years. So I want to put it more in people's faces that,
Yes.
this is what we do. So we're trying to show it everywhere.
Well, I think this is when somebody's looking for quarantine fish. Now at least they know what they're going to be getting. So this is very admirable, Dimo.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Well, thank you for showing us around. Very exciting. I can't wait to come back for that copper band, and then my viewers are going to be able to see it in my tank for hopefully many, many months and years.
For sure. So we'll get him in here.
Yeah.
And I'm not I don't like selling any fish unless it's eating. So when it's in here on Wednesday, I'll give you an update. It might
Perfect.
take another day or two to settle down and
Perfect.
start eating. And then when he's good to go, we'll bag him up.
Phenomenal. Dimo, thank you so much. Can't wait, and this is very admirable what you do.
Thank you. I'm looking forward to another update.